Oh,
How are you?
good, good. How are you?
Good. It's freezing today here, but
Oh,
well,
really?
yeah, it's really cold. It's like 0 degrees here. Freezing.
I've never experienced 0 degrees before.
Don't come to London. It's great for tourism, but to stay warm, don't come.
Okay. All right, please introduce us to yourself.
Okay, so I'm very new to this. My page is blue_eye poetry. I've been writing poetry for about 4 or 5 years, but I've only this year decided to start putting it out there, and seeing if other people can relate more than anything. Because for me, it was just an outlet, and I'm finding more and more people are really relating and feeling me through my poetry, which is a huge boost. And yeah, that's about it.
So we have to talk about your name first. Why is it called Blue Eye Poetry?
So my eyes are blue. We actually get a lot of people saying to me, "Are her eyes blue though?" But in the camera, it's very hard to see. Can you see?
Yes.
But when I'm far away, people are like, "Are her eyes blue?" And they are blue. Don't know if you've ever seen my partner on here, the guy with the purple tie. That's my poetical partner. He actually came up with the name. He was like, "What about Blue Eye Poetry? It kind of fits." I was like, "Yeah, I like that." So we kind of flowed with that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so your first poem, The Image,
Hmm.
your use of repetition, one day she says, one day,
Hmm.
was that intentional? And also, what is that day to you?
Um, I use repetition in a lot of my poetry. I think that's just something
Hmm.
that comes quite naturally to me. When I reread my poetry, I think it has a really nice effect. It kind of reinstates what I'm trying to state earlier on in the poem. Um, One day for me is the day of hopefully feeling content and happy in my life. You know, life is never going to be 100% stable. Problems will come and go. But I hope that one day I will find that thing or someone, if it may be that, that will that will make me happy. One day I'll be able to accept the condition that I have, and I can live with that and be happy. But when I wrote that at the time, I was only 17, I think, and I was going through a lot. I'd moved city. I'd just been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I was trying to find my way through life as a new university student, and that day was not then. And I'm definitely getting there now, but I've still got growing to do, and hopefully one day I'll be content. Yeah.
Are you still attending university?
No, I finished 2 years ago.
Oh, what'd you
I
study?
did childcare. So the long run was to be a teacher. If I want to actually do it, I've got to do an extra year. I've got to do a master's at uni. But I got my basic degree, which is great. I got my undergrad, and we'll see. Hopefully, at one point in my life, I would like to go back to it. At the moment, I'm taking a break from education. I have done for the past 2 years, and then hopefully
Hmm.
later on, as I get a bit older, I would like to go back because I want to be a teacher. So that would be fun.
I can see that. You have like a very like nice teacher vibe.
Oh, thank you.
You know, like I can't wait to go to her class.
No,
You know?
I hope. For me, teaching isn't about the education. I've always felt that my calling from God is children. I've been very good with kids since I was a young age. I think my outside definitely prepared me for children because I was 14 when my little brother was born. So I did a lot with my little brother, childcare wise, to kind of support him. And then through that, I definitely found my passion with kids. So thank you. Hopefully I can be an influence to kids, not just necessarily education wise, but be someone that they can go, oh, we got Miss Howard's class today, and they come smiling. I just want to be an influence to kids rather than, you've got this exam, let's prepare for it. No, I want to be someone they can run to. So
I love that.
thank you.
Who was the first person to break your heart?
Huh. um, are we talking romantically or elsewhere?
In general, I'm so glad that you thought so broad. Yes, that's what I wanted.
So unfortunately broke my heart is my mother. A
Mm,
lot of my poetry does reflect to my mum. Some is romantically,
mhm.
don't get me wrong, but I would say the first person that broke my heart was my mum, and I'm still patching myself up from that, and that is where my anxiety and depression stems from. I had a very traumatic childhood, and now at 23, I'm still fighting it every day. But yeah, and then unfortunately, that broken heart with her still is not fixed. So I think that's the hard part as an adult, trying to fix that broken heart when it's someone so close as your mum. It's very hard. It's tough. But then, yes, I've been brokenhearted by a man too. I think we all have at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah, my main one is my mum, unfortunately.
What are your thoughts on Father's Day?
That's another hard one. So I actually have a piece up. I think it's one of my recent pieces is about my father. I didn't find my
Mm-hmm.
father until I was 20. That's why my relationship with my mum is so hard to accept, that it went so wrong as I got older, because for a long time it was just me and my mum. My father was not in the picture. And then when I hit 20, I used Facebook to search and find him, and I managed to. But growing up,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's a nice story. We have contact now, and he's a great father now. Obviously not what my brain expected, because it's an adult relationship with my father now, and I didn't have the child relationship with him. But Father's Day growing up was tough. Now it's quite a celebratory day because I found him, and that was a lot for me. But when I was young, it was very tough. It was a very lonely day for me. And because my relationship with my mum was sketchy, I couldn't run to her when I was sad about not knowing dad. So you kind of just push through. Mentally, you have to just accept he's not there. And that's that.
I'm glad that you relate to that, Miss Alicia. Um, if you could remove any color from existence, what would it be?
Red.
Why?
Red is a difficult one for people because it can relate to love, and that's beautiful. But red is also pain and blood. And the sight of, because of anxiety and depression, the sight of red does trickle my brain to blood because of the, I'm going to be very open here, because of self-harming and all of that.
No.
Red is a very triggering color for me. I'm actually wearing red, surprisingly. But this is my granddad's jumper, so it's special. I can push the red away. But yeah, red for me is a really tough color because of what it resonates for me.
If you could be any Batman supervillain, who would you be?
Oh my. I'm not really into the whole superhero thing, so I don't really
Oh,
know.
really?
No, like I'll watch it. If someone's got it on and I'm there, I'll watch it, but it won't necessarily be something I choose to put on.
Uh-huh.
Superhero. It's gonna be a basic, like Superman, because it's all I know.
Yeah.
I'd like to fly and help people, I guess.
True, true. Okay. How do you educate and challenge yourself as a writer without copying someone else's style?
I speak from my heart, and I think that would be a lot of poets' responses to something like that. I don't, as I say, the repetition and things like that, like a lot of the poetry techniques that I use, they come out naturally. I'm not like, oh, let's put a repetition in here, let's put a bit of alliteration. I don't do that. I just let my brain run. And a lot of my
Mm.
pieces are very emotional, because they come from my heart. They don't come from something that motivates me to write it, or it's inside. And whatever I'm feeling in that moment, it's my outlet to be able to speak. I write. So all from the heart mostly, unless I get a prompt. Lately, because I've entered the poetry world, I actually did a piece that was about my mum. It's very new. I've performed it in a few places, but that was done from a prompt because we were given song titles, and it was a song. I listened to the music, and for me, it felt right to do it about my mum. So unless it's a prompt, it comes directly from here.
Okay. Cool, cool. I was gonna say, I feel like your style of poetry is more of like storytelling.
Yeah,
Do you,
a lot of people say I use imagery quite well, and again, though, it's not
yeah.
intentional. It's
Okay.
like, and that's what I mean. A lot of mine is just completely from my heart, and then people say, "Oh, you've used imagery." Oh, you, and I'm like, I have. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I'm using skills that I didn't even know I had. So if you're getting imagery from me, that's fantastic. Like it's great.
So, so when it comes to people interpreting your work,
Mm.
do you think that it's very important that they can solve the poem?
Not solve it, feel it. For me, it's
Oh, wow.
I'm doing it because it's what I feel. So if you can feel what I'm feeling through writing that poetry, my aim is done. Because as I say, I don't necessarily, because I'm so new to the world of poetry, I'm not doing it to get something or get them to solve it or even get them to understand it. For me, they either understand it or they don't, because it's me just pouring my heart out onto a piece of paper. So for me, new to the poetry world, my biggest aim is to get you to feel what I was feeling when I wrote that piece. If that is done, fantastic. I'm happy.
I like that a lot. Wow. Oh my gosh. I feel like you're schooling me right now. Like schooling me on confidence right now, yo. Okay. What is the first book to make you cry?
You know what? This is going to be a very basic answer, but it's going to be the Bible.
Um,
Because I'm going to be honest, like I'm a writer, and I love reading, but I have to really be in the mood to read a book, especially a novel. I have to be in it and it has to grab me. If the first chapter doesn't grab me, I'm not going to lie to you, I put it down. Some people are like, no, I have to
Thank you.
finish it because I've started it. Nah, if you're not capturing me, for me, nah, I'm done. For me, it'll be the Bible because I feel God through that. And that's definitely got me teary eyed when I can feel the spirit. So it's not necessarily the book that's made me cry, it's God. But it'll be the
Mm,
Bible for me.
mm. Okay. Do you believe in writer's block?
Yes.
Really? Why?
I believe that writer's block can sometimes be in the sense that, yes, you just don't know what to write. But for me, it's writer's block in the sense of I have such an overload of emotion that I don't know how to write it.
Mm,
So I have writer's block in the sense of I know what I want to write. So it's not blocked in that sense, but it's blocked in the sense of I don't know how to write it. I don't know how to get it out. A lot of people have writer's block in the sense that they don't know how to creatively do it. But for me, it's more of a how do I get this out the way I'm trying to get it out because of what I'm feeling. I can't always do that. So I'll get a blockage and I won't do it. I'll just try and accept what I'm feeling first. And then eventually, once I've understood what I'm feeling, I'm able to actually write it out in a poem.
okay. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So where can we like you, stalk you, follow you, all that fun stuff?
Okay, so as I said at the beginning, my page is blue_eyed poetry. It's not empty, it's getting there now. Slowly I'm filtering pieces out probably once a week. Me and as I mentioned earlier, my partner, he is hashtag the guy with the purple tie. His page is C Desta Written World.
That's his handle.
So his tag on Instagram is it's at C Desta, so CDESTA Written World. And the reason why I'm bringing him up is because a lot of my stuff is referenced on his because we have a collab page that we've just started. So our collab page is called Poetry Powerhouse Couple. So it is very new. We don't actually have any pieces on there yet, but we've put out our intro stuff. We are looking to put our collab pieces on there. We've done a few, but we just haven't uploaded them yet. And we are also going to hold our own Instagram lives on there, hopefully, because we're trying to build more of a platform for people to come and do what they do in other people's lives. We're very people. We want to get to know everyone and spread the talent as well, especially because we have a lot of interaction with you guys over in the US. So to kind of bring you guys over to our side and the other side of the sea would be amazing for us to know that we did it together. And our love is what stems that page. It's a big thing for us. It's all mushy, but it's what we really want. So yeah,
I'm
Poetry
looking
Powerhouse Couple,
forward to that.
please come and check it out.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, and then last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's such thing as a bad poem?
No. Who am I?
Why?
Who am I to criticize anyone's poem, for one? For two, a lot of poets, it's because they are trying to get something off their chest or it's their way of style. Just because one person's style of poetry isn't necessarily what I enjoy doesn't mean it's a bad poem. So I would never be the person to say that's a bad poem because just because it doesn't relate to me or I can't make sense of it, someone else may. And say, well, that's not a bad poem. I like it. So I don't believe that's my place to state it's bad. No. And I'd be very upset if someone said that about mine because that's me pouring my heart out. As I say, my poetry is very, very emotion based. But if anyone was to say, oh, it's not poetry, you're just speaking, to me, it's poetry. And to other people, it may be. So I would be really upset and offended if someone had the confidence to say that to me. Therefore, I would never do it to someone else, ever. Never.
You're such a good person.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I try to be.
It hurts my heart to know that maybe when you know that you have moments of sadness, but I think that those moments of sadness, if it helps you create something beautiful to inspire someone else
Mm-hmm.
in a kind of cynical way, it's kind of worth it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
100%. And out of those, the typical saying, out of that, the good feels great. Out of your bad, We need to feel that to be happy. And I've had some really rough days, but that does not compare to someone else's that's probably been worse. There's always worse around the corner, for one. And for two, as you say, if you can help someone else in this world, like Elisha said that he resonated with what I said earlier, that's all I want out of my creativity, for people to see the heart in it and feel that they can resonate with me. Because in my life, there's so many people that don't understand what I've gone through. And through poetry, I've met so many people that are like, oh my gosh, that happened to me with my mum. Or, oh my gosh, that poem makes sense to me. That is such a STEM in the creative world, and that's a reason why we do it. So, yeah.
Forgive me for saying your name incorrectly, Elisha, but if at least one person loves your work, it's always a blessing. And I feel so blessed to know you and to have you part of my circle now.
It's lovely. I
And
love this. I love meeting
yes,
people.
yes, I'm not a poet, but
Damn poet. Do you know, at this point, I've met so many people that ain't even part of the poetry world. This alone makes people feel whole and comfortable. So thank you for having me here. When you wanted me to come on, I felt so special. So thank you for doing that.
oh, thank you. All right.
And
Well, you enjoy the rest of your day and
you
have a
too.
happy holiday.
Thank you. You too.
Happy holiday.
We'll talk
I don't.
soon. DM me.
Yes, no, we're for sure going to communicate more because I have plans for February. We're going to communicate. All
Awesome.
right.
Take care. Much love. Stay safe.